Calcium is in the plasma portion of your blood, that the watery portion. And calcium, it's a cation with 2 fewer electrons than the atom has. And therefore, that's why we use the abbreviation Ca, meaning calcium, and then a superscript of +2, indicating that it's lost 2 negative charges. So when deposited by osteoblasts, when deposition by osteoblasts happen, calcium is taken up from the blood and tied up into your bones. And this process would lower the calcium in your blood, lower than 8.5 milligrams per deciliter, which is an average target for calcium. Remember, different hospitals might have different ranges depending on the lab and the tests that they use. When your calcium levels fall, a hormone is released into your blood called the parathyroid hormone, or PTH. You have 4 little parathyroid glands on the posterior neck region that make this hormone PTH. These glands, they're actually like glued onto the surface of the thyroid gland, which wraps around your trachea. And this is why these 4 little glands are called the parathyroid, because the prefix para means to the side. Before we discovered the parathyroid glands were even there, we'd have people go in for thyroidectomies and remove part of the thyroid gland, like the part with the parathyroid gland attached, and then the patient would return after surgery with hypocalcemia, because they'd no longer be making enough PTH to raise the calcium level. Tricky. Okay, so PTH doesn't actually do anything to the blood. PTH is a hormone, so it's just a signal. The parathyroid gland sits around and monitors the calcium in the blood. And when the calcium goes down, the parathyroid glands make PTH, which then travel to these 3 organs: the small intestine, the kidney, and the osteoclasts of bone, which, I'm sorry, the osteoclasts are not an organ, they're cells. The small intestine absorbs more calcium from your food. The kidney refuses to release calcium into the urine, and both of these things maintain or raise blood calcium. Osteoclasts, the cells that break down bone, they respond to PTH, and they begin osteolysis to break down bone, releasing releasing stored calcium into the blood. And all of this lowers the blood calcium level back to a normal level. At the same time, the thyroid gland itself, not the parathyroid, the thyroid gland itself is monitoring the calcium levels in your blood. And when the calcium levels in your blood go too high, there are cells in the thyroid called C cells, and they release that hormone called calcitonin. Calcitonin, just like PTH, it travels to the same 3 organs, but it tells them to do the exact opposite of what PTH told them. Calcitonin tells the small intestine, stop absorbing calcium, I don't need any more. And it tells the kidney, please get rid of as much calcium as you can into the urine. And both of those actions lower the calcium in the blood. Bone responds by ceasing osteoclast activity. And this allows the osteoblasts to continue working as normal, grabbing calcium from the blood and depositing it during that process of remodeling, right? So since there's no balancing osteoclast activity in that type of remodeling, this also serves to lower the blood calcium level.